So let's just talk a moment about 3 ways you would know if you could use some work on your visibility, right? On your positioning. One of those is probably something you hear often is if you're posting on social media and you're not getting a response. And I'm not just talking about a whole lot of likes and a lot of comments because those don't necessarily equate to money in the bank. And we know that's true. That's vanity metrics. I want to know, are people inboxing you? Are they coming to you to ask how they can work with you further? That's really how you know that your visibility strategy is working for you. Don't get caught up in the likes and how many comments other people have. The second way that you will know is if you are doing a lot of networking, but it's not turning into clients or customers. Are you going to online events and networking? Are you showing up in person to networking events? But it's not turning into revenue. Truth be told, it's probably because you don't have a strategy for those activities. And that's why strategy is so critical. That's why the accelerator exists, because we need to build your custom strategy to make the 100K plus faster and faster and faster. And so, for example, when you go to networking events, the biggest challenge that I see is not preparing for the networking event ahead of time and knowing what your goals are while you're there. People just show up and they start mingling. And then number two, it is not following up after the networking event. We all come back and we get busy and we have our own things to do, our to-do list. That's a to-do platter. And so we don't follow up. We're all guilty. And that's why you need a strategy for follow-up so that it's easier to do. And then the third way to know whether you need some work on your visibility is referrals. Are you getting referrals? And even more importantly, are you getting referrals that align with what you do? There's nothing worse than someone coming to you and saying that Lucy sent them and you ask what they need, and what they need has nothing to do with what you do. Or Lucy told them that you do something and that's really not what you do. Or Lucy told them you do something and you haven't done that in 15 years. It happens all the time, but it's your responsibility for people to know what you do. And then when it comes to referrals, this is a very important part of growing the business. You don't just wish and hope and pray for referrals. You don't just do an amazing job and expect referrals. You need to actually intentionally strategize for that. Okay, so there's 3 critical strategies. I'm not just going to completely leave you hanging. There are 3 critical strategies that I am going to share with you that you can use, implement, focus on, strengthen to elevate your authority, to expand your access. And the first one is to redefine your space. And what I mean by that is getting crystal clear in the marketplace how you are different. How are you different? There's a million coaches. There's a million Toyotas. There's a million brands of water. How are you different? Redefine your position in the marketplace. Redefine your position in your industry. Now, caution, that does not mean going and making up a bunch of names. I am starting to see so many people's headlines and bios with made up titles. Remember, clarity is better than clever. I digress. All right, so redefine your space. The second one is to raise your value. And I'm not talking about the value that you have of you. You'll do that during power, right? The power layer, the internal authority. I'm talking about your perceived value. Everyone has a perception, but you get to control that. You get to define that. You get to create that. You get to design that. What do you want them to perceive about your brand and about your authority? You have to be intentional. And then the third one is leverage. Leveraging your knowledge and using that to leverage other people's community, other people's platforms. Knowledge is power, but knowledge is profitable. And so take what you know. Take what you know best. Don't worry about what you don't know. Don't worry about what you think you should know or someone else thinks you should know. There's too much shoulding going on. Take what you know, even if it's only one thing. Take what you know and leverage that. Leverage it into offers. And then leverage that knowledge by expanding your authority, expanding your access, and going places where your ideal client is already hanging out. And the easiest way to do that is by leveraging other people's community. And I don't mean going into a group and trying to snatch people's people. That is not what this is about. That is out of integrity. Going and being helpful, being on podcasts, because when you're on a podcast, you are leveraging someone else's community. There's lots of ways that you can do that and still be authentic, still be in integrity. And so now you have 3 strategic solutions that you can start to implement right away. So that's it for day 1, which is grow, of the GPS to your next 100K Masterclass Series. I am Dr. Linette Montae, and it has been my pleasure to share time with you today.